Good morning. It is Monday and here is my makeup look. Today's color is ivory. So I have a little ivory star, but I try to do the best I can. This is my outfit of the day. Hopefully you guys can see I have my privacy screen protector on, so it's a little hard for me to see. But here is today's makeup look. It's not exactly how I expected it to turn out, but she cute. We're gonna roll with her. So I got my necklace on. I have to finish getting ready, put my lotion and all that other stuff on. Ran super late because did I sleep last night? Did I go to bed early to sleep? Yes, I did. But did I fall asleep? No, I did not fall asleep. I still gotta take my medicine. I put my glasses on. I did not fall asleep last night. I literally laid in bed and tossed and turned. And then hubby and wifey woke me up. They were playing their Fortnite last night and they're, oh no, blah. And then I shut the bedroom door. And then I still couldn't sleep. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and then I literally started crying last night because I couldn't sleep. So I started crying and I'm like, why am I like this? Like, I took some ZzzQuil. I took it upstairs and then I forgot I even brought it upstairs. And it was in my hamper the whole time. I forgot that I brought it up. And then I'm like, I don't want to go back downstairs. I forgot I had it upstairs. And then I remembered when I went to the bathroom at like 2:30. Because mind you, I started editing last night. And I started falling asleep. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop editing. I'll edit tomorrow. You know, it is what it is. And I was like, it is what it is. And I was like, I'll edit and get it done tomorrow because if I'm falling asleep, I want to get some Z's. Nope, did not.
Oh yeah.
Did not happen. Let's take some of these quickly. So, it didn't happen. Sleep did not want to find me last night. So, here we are. But yeah, so I am going to go and finish getting ready for work. I have to go wake people up to take me to work. It's already 8:23, so I'm running late. What else is there? It wouldn't be me if I wasn't running late. But I slept till 7, so I ended up getting almost 4 hours of sleep. So eventually, but I was like literally in bed crying. I took the ZzzQuil. I didn't take a whole dose. I took a small dose of it because I didn't know how it was going to affect me because I wanted to take it Saturday night, but I forgot to see how it was going to work. So I just took a small dose and it was late. So tonight I think I'm going to take it earlier. Like as soon as I get in bed, after my nighttime medicine, take the ZzzQuil, or maybe I'll take the ZzzQuil as I take my nighttime medicine. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah. All right, guys. I will see you all when I get home from work. Hey friends, it is 10 o'clock and I got done the cupcakes. They're all done. If you would like to see how I made the Death Note and Afro Samurai cupcakes, then please feel free to click on over to Ray's Cakes and watch it over there. Support my little itty bitty channel. All right. Back to the video. So I am inserting a trigger warning. I'm going to do a story time, and I wanted to tell you guys, I actually debated about even recording this. I'm not gonna lie, because this is a very personal story that has happened to me, and it's very triggering. It does have to deal with domestic violence and along that nature. of an abusive relationship I was in. I haven't really talked about it, and I debated about putting it on the internet, but it's a personal story that happened to me. And what brought this on was the whole Amaranth situation. If you're not familiar what happened, you guys can go Google it. I first started seeing Voice Critical talk about it, Charlie, and I couldn't watch it, so I deleted it, or not deleted it, but clicked off of it. And when I was watching the H3 podcast, I got engrossed and watched it, and it was on my mind all night. And when I recorded this last night, and like I said, I debated intensely about even putting this out here. So this is raw and real, and this was a true situation that really did happen to me. It was a relationship I was in. Sorry, excuse me. But I figured I'd just share my story so other people know that they're not alone. And my heart goes out to Amaranth, and I hope that she's okay. And I know what it's like. So here goes the story time. Alright, friends, so story time. I'm recording this with my AirPods because I don't want my son to really hear what I am talking about, so I am talking pretty quietly. I'm going to try to be pretty straightforward with this. Whoa. Oh, gosh, that is a bright light, let me tell you. So, I'm going to try to power through this and then just kind of end the video. Basically, when I was 13, I met a girl, and me and her became friends, and she was in the foster care system, and me and her became friends. She had a little boy, she had a baby, and she was fun, she was nice. She was, of course, older than me. She was like 2 years older than me. I was 13, she was 15. Her brother was 16, and she was like, I should hook you up with my brother. And I was like, it's like, I don't, but me and him started dating. He was 3 years older than me, so me and him dated off and on again for years. We would break up, he went along his merry way, I did my things. I had other boyfriends, I had other friends, and then somehow he'd end up calling me, or I'd run into his brother, and then next thing you know, he's calling me, the ex, and whatever, like, oh, I heard you talking to my brother, blah, 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 like, stupid shit. Like, when my ex, I guess he was out of the state for a while. Me and his brother did start talking, but then lo and behold, his brother came back, and him and his brother got into a fight because my ex wanted to be back with me again, and I didn't want to be with him, but I don't know why I caved, and I did, and that was the last time, because that started a downward spiral. That was probably when I was 15, maybe 16. Yeah, I think I was like 15 going into 16, because my mom had her cancer and her surgery, and when I was 16, I started working full time to take care of my mom, so I had dropped out of school, and I was taking care of her and helping pay her medical costs and paying her bills and, helping out like that. So I wasn't going to school. So me and him, and of course he was out because he was, 19, 17, 18, 19? Yeah, he was about 19 at the time. And I was like, okay. And so we had started dating again, and we had started talking, and I would go over his house, but I would come home. I never spent the night. Well, one weekend, this is where it started to progress. One weekend, my mom had a funeral, and it was out of town. And she called his mom and was like, hey, can Ray stay the weekend? We have to go out of town. Whatever. And she's like, yeah, I don't care. So I ended up staying the weekend. And then his mom was like, you know, you can stay anytime you want. If your mom lets you, you can stay. She's like, you know, as long as you get to work or whatever, you know, because I would take the bus to work. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, as far as I'm concerned, you're an adult because you're working full time. You're not going to school. And I was like, oh, okay. So one weekend turned into every weekend. And then it was every weekend and Monday. And then every weekend and Tuesday. And then it just got to the point where I was there all the time. And his mom was in the process of moving down to Southern Maryland. So she was in the process of moving. And I was helping her with her youngest, getting him up in the morning, getting him to school because she hadn't transferred his schools yet. And then on Friday, she would pick him up from school and take him down to her house. And his dad, which was his stepdad, my boyfriend's stepdad, I took care of him because he worked up this way. So I would pack his lunch every day. Notice a trend here. I would pack his lunch every day, make sure the little brother got up, got to school, got him dressed, did his laundry, helped him with his homework and everything. And of course, me and ex-boyfriend had our relationship, so we were doing like our thing as well. And basically, like, dare I say, playing house. I mean, I don't know how else you want to say it. And then when I became more full-time around, that is where the issues started, so to speak. He started to become pretty aggressive with certain situations, and I'm like, I would look at him like there's really no need to act like that, and he would just not be so nice. And first it was a lot of verbal stuff, and I would ignore it, to be honest. Like, I'd be like, whatever, dude, like. And then it got to the point where I was finally like, I feel like we're spending way too much time. Well, as soon as I said that, it's like, oh, what, are you cheating on me? And I'm like, what? And I was like, how can I cheat on you? I'm here all the fucking time. Like, and he would constantly accuse me of cheating. And had I known then what I know now, I would have known that he was actually the one who was cheating. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. But things started getting more physical. He would push me. We would get into arguments. He would just start picking arguments. He started becoming controlling, possessive. He didn't like what my friends would say about him, and then I would start getting balls and standing up to him, and he's like, see, you hung out with so-and-so, and now you think you can da-da-da-da-da. And then he didn't want me hanging out with anybody. And he isolated me. I mean, it was gradual. and I didn't realize it till the end, you know. But again, I was 16, 17 years old. So, and things started getting, it was very verbal, possessive, controlling. Sorry, I keep thinking I hear something. And it was pretty, like, crazy. Because, like, the one time we got into a fight, he pushed me in the closet door broke. Just some of the key parts of the relationship was, he had his one friend because he didn't trust me. So he had his one friend always do checks on me to make sure I was home and doing what I was supposed to be doing and where I was supposed to be. And I remember his friend, he came to the house one day and he's like, Ray, come be with me. I'll protect you. We'll get out of here. His nickname, I guess I could say his nickname. But I'm not going to say it. But he was like, I can show you, like, what it's like to treat. He's like, you're a good woman. You don't deserve this. You know, you're a good girl, blah, blah, blah. Like, he would have his niece. Like, I remember I saw my friends, they were visiting their cousin who lived in the same court. And he had his niece, like, she ran in the house. I don't know how old she was, like 4 or 5, and she ran in the house and she's like, Uncle, Ray's talking to boys. And he, like, came hauling ass, and I'm like, dude, like, for real? Like, he tried to have his brother just to say, I guess I should say R word, if there's an edit here. So he tried to have his brother R word me just to say that I cheated, but he couldn't go along with it. He's like, the $100 wasn't worth it. I was like, you were gonna force yourself upon me for $100? He's like, he just wanted to say that you cheated on him. I'm like, oh my God. Like, he was scary. Like, I couldn't do anything. It was wild. But he could do whatever he wanted. When I would go home to my mom's house, he would block my phone number because he was cheating on me the whole time. And his girlfriend or other girlfriend, when I was there, which was all the time, he had her number blocked. But the minute I went home, he would call her. And then he would, like, pick a fight and be like, don't come anymore. And I'd be like, well, I'm going to come get my stuff. And he'd be like, no, blah, blah, blah. And then we get into a huge fight. And then I wouldn't go over there for a few days. And then, but she was over there the whole time. And then he'd call me and be like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And my dumb ass would always fucking take him back because of whatever. And the worst thing, one of the worst, most painful memories, and I can't believe, like, at 42, I still remember this. He put a box cutter to my face because I was like, I told him, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I can't. And he was like, I was like, I can't be with you anymore. I was like, I just can't. And I said, I think it's for the best. I was like, you want to be with so-and-so, you be with her, because I'm done. I can't. It can't be both of us. And this was actually after he was sick, and he asked me to make him some tea. So I made him tea, and he was like, it's not how so-and-so makes it. And I said, well, you know what? Why don't you call so-and-so and have her fucking come over and make it then? And I stormed upstairs. And then I heard the doorbell ring. And I started walking to the top of the stairs and walking down because I didn't know if he was sleeping or not. He said, get back upstairs. And he opened the door, and it was her. And I was so mad. And we didn't have cell phones or nothing, so I just laid upstairs and cried my eyes out. And I walked downstairs and I couldn't find them, and they were in the kitchen getting it on, and he had her bent over the table, and I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. So I went upstairs and started packing my stuff, and she left. And well, she left when I started packing my stuff, like when we were done. And I ran upstairs and I started getting all my shit, and I put it in bags and I started throwing it down the steps. And he got pissed. He kicked her out. Me and him got into a fight, and that's when I told him, I said, I can't. I said, our time is done now. Like, I said, I can't do this anymore. And that's when he pulled the box cutter out, and I will still remember to this day the look in his eyes, and he was crazed, and he was like, you're not leaving me. And he was like, I will fucking slice your face so bad that every time you look in the mirror, you will always remember me. And he was like, if you make it. And he's like, no, go take your shit and put it back upstairs. I didn't know what to do. So like a good obedient little girl, I did what he said. I was scared. I didn't know what he was actually capable of. I didn't know what he was gonna do. I was scared. So, so my saving grace was his grandfather. It wasn't long after that. Like, there was just days I just sat on the couch. I was so depressed. Like, I didn't even care. Like, and then we had to have relations, like, all the time. Like, I want to say, like, 5 times a day, because it felt like 5 times a day. We had to have it first thing in the morning, when he came home from lunch, like, I was still working, too, by the way. But I had to cut my hours down to 3 days because I couldn't take coming home or coming back to his house, because it was always, who were you talking to? Whose number did you get? Did you do this? Did you do that? Like, I'm like, dude, it's not that serious. Like, I legitimately went to work and that was it. Hold on, I have to blow my nose. Oh. Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to go blow my nose. But, so his grandfather lived in Virginia Beach or somewhere down south. Quite a few hours away. And his mom called and said, can you let him know, my boyfriend at the time, that granddad is sick and we're all going down this weekend to, take care of him or whatever. And she's like, I want all the kids to go because it could be his last, And my boyfriend was a little annoyed because his mom said I couldn't go. One, I wasn't family. Two, there wasn't enough room. She wanted only family to go. Family, grandkids, whatever. That was it. Well, of course, he was mad because how, for heaven forbid, how was he going to keep tabs on me? And so he wasn't happy with this situation. And I knew he was going to call. Like I said, cell phones were not a thing back then. And I knew he was going to call the house. But because I knew, I prepared. I figured how much. I looked on MapQuest or tried to figure out how long it was to Virginia Beach, and I figured I'd wait for him to call me, like calculate the hours, because like I said, I knew he was going to call me. And he did. And he was just like, you know, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I was just making sure that you're home. I was like, I'm sure you were. And the whole time I was packing all my shit together. And why? Tell me why. Because this is how I am. I still cleaned the fucking house before I left. Like, what the hell? So, I called my mom, and I said, I'm coming home as soon as he calls me and I know that he's officially down there. I'm gonna call and have you come get me. And she says, okay, that's fine. She's like, we'll do that. And I was like, okay. And that is what we did. He called me when he got down there, and he's like, you know, wanting to check on me. He's like, you know, whatever. And I said, that's fine, because he knew his stepdad was going to be home. Well, his stepdad did come home when my dad was there, and I was loading all my shit up. And I told him, like, I had cleaned the house, I made his dinner, I packed his lunch, and he's like, I'm gonna miss you. He's like, but he even told me, he's like, I'm surprised you stayed around as long as you did. And he's like, but I understand. I'm like, you're a grown man, like, why didn't you talk to him? But he didn't see him as his kid, so why would he? Because he was like, if he was my son, I would have beat the fuck out of him. And then so I left. When I got home, I blocked all his phone numbers. I blocked his mom's number. I blocked his brother's number. I blocked his work number. And like back in the day, I think you could only block like 5 or 6 numbers. And then like, you know, and then he started calling me and leaving messages from like payphones. So every message he would like leave me from payphones, I would, you know, I would block those, and I'd have to unblock another one just to block the newest one. So it was like a roulette game, I'm telling you. It was rough. So I had all that going on. So when he got back into town, all hell broke loose, because he definitely was mad that I left. He of course kept trying to get a hold of me, and he did the whole, well, if I can't have you, no one can spiel. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, you know. And he started calling me at my job. Well, I can't block the numbers from there. And he was constantly calling me, and I started getting in trouble at work because they're like, he has got to stop calling. This is a place of business. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I can't control him. And they're like, he's harassing you, he's doing this, he's doing that. Like, you need to get this, you need to get that. And one day he just kept calling and calling and calling, and I said, look, you're gonna make me get fired or whatever. I said, leave me the fuck alone, we're done. He's like, oh no, we're not. He's like, oh no, we're not. We are far from done. And my mom happened to call me at work, because you can't not answer the phone. And she calls me, she says, Bri, I just passed his house. She's like, he is at the bus stop. And she's like, he has the brown DeWalt case. And I was like, she's like, call the police now, because the brown DeWalt case meant that is where his stepfather kept his gun, was in a DeWalt drill case. And I was like, what the fuck is a psychopath gonna do? So I called the police. They were waiting for him at the bus stop. He was so angry. The police officer said he was very, very angry. And when they were like, he gave his brother's name, he didn't give his name. He was like giving his brother's name. I said, no, that is not him. That is this person. And they were just like, I was like, he is definitely lying. I said, that is him. And it was truly insane. He got rid of I don't know why they didn't check it, because I kept telling them there was a gun in there, but they didn't. They just saw it as a drill case. And then, like, when he got off the bus, I don't remember all the details of what happened, but something about how it ended up in the cemetery by the bus stop. I don't know. And then they sat up there and they watched him get on the bus. And they gave me a police report. They did hang out because I knew the one officer. Because we had a patrol officer that walked a shopping center where I worked. And he was walking. And the other patrol officer, so they hung out a lot at my store. Just to make sure I was safe and the store was safe and, whatever. But it was a very scary situation. And basically what ended up happening was my mom took me to file for a restraining order, and I wanted to press charges, but because the domestic violence charges were like so old and there was no physical evidence and no physical proof, there was nothing that they could do. So all they could get me was on the harassment, and there was tons of documentation because the store manager vouched for it. And I guess, I don't know if you could see the phone records or anything like that. So they did get him on a harassment charge, like phone harassment, because back in the day that was like a super big thing. I don't know if it's really a big thing anymore. But phone harassment was a very big deal back in the day. And so they did get him on that. And I had to go to court, and they had given him 3 years. And so they gave him 3 years. But then I remember getting a letter in the mail saying that he took some class, so he was only doing like 13 months, or like 13 or 15 months. And I was just like, that's like a year and something by then, And then I had stopped talking to his sister, because during all this, like, after I left, his sister, like, started talking, because I had stopped talking. He didn't want me talking to his sister. Like, he didn't want me talking to her, because even his sister was telling me to leave. And, like, to get out of there. And to leave him alone. And that she kept apologizing for setting me up. But then I ended up moving with her. You thought I would have learned with the one sibling. But I didn't. And I ended up moving in with her. And she ended up treating me like shit. And I ended up taking care of all her fucking kids. While she was sleeping with her cousin's husband and had her 4th baby. But that's not my business. But yeah, wild times, wild times. But yeah, so when I heard the Amaranth, what happened to her and how he was talking. So basically, if you haven't heard the story, she was on a live stream and her abusive husband was on the phone. He was threatening to kill her dogs and like just being a psychopath, and it triggered. I haven't thought about these people that used to be in my life for years until this situation happened. Well, maybe not years. I mean, I probably thought about it, but it didn't trigger me like it did tonight. It was very, like I said, I heard Most Critical was talking about it yesterday, and I kind of stopped watching it. But then today, when the H3 podcast was talking about it and I was listening and watching the video, I was just so triggered. And I just remember, and it's like, and then the hate that she was getting, I don't understand it. And like, people, they don't understand why people stay. I stayed because I was fucking scared. I didn't love him anymore. I was scared to leave. Like, I didn't know what other choice I had at the time. You know that there's other choices, but you end up just being so scared that's just, and I was scared, because then my ex started threatening my mom, and that he was gonna come to our house and burn our house down when we were sleeping. He used to call and leave these voicemails on my answering machine. He would say, oh, when you go home today, you're gonna find your mom and dad slaughtered, or like some crazy shit. And it's like, I don't know. So, sorry for that, but you would think I'd be a cold hard bitch, but I'm not. I'm still, I don't know why, I always still want to see the good in people. I feel like, I don't know. And I didn't know his dad like that. Like, I knew his dad, my ex's. I knew his mom. His mom was put together. She was nice. I don't know, but just hearing how Amaranth's husband was talking to her on the phone, like the tone, it just took me back to 17-year-old me sitting there I don't know. Okay. I don't know. It's just something that, I don't know. But I guess if you've never been in that situation, you wouldn't understand, I guess. To be honest. I mean, how else would you? You know what I mean? How else would you be able to relate to that? So, on that note, friends, I am actually, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I think I am now mentally over it. So, yeah. I'm going to wrap this video up, I think.